Howdy, howdy, Chris here, and welcome back to Garage Noise. I appreciate you tuning in. If you're new to the channel, this channel is all about helping you with your repair or restoration project. And today, I think we got a good episode for you. We got a beautiful looking 66 Ford Mustang here that we're gonna be doing some repairs on, some rust repair, some dent repair, and some other minor touch-ups. First thing, I know you guys wanna see this beautiful Mustang. So this is what we have here, guys. This is a 66 Ford Mustang. Really a pretty nice little piece. Really some good attention to detail on this vehicle. It's not perfect, but it's a really good driver. Let me show you the interior here. Pretty clean. It's got some cool features. The interior's been all done. It is a 4-speed. This I particularly like. It lights up right there. Mustang. Really clean. I mean, well taken care of. It's got some aftermarket gauges in here. Real nice aftermarket gauges. The paint's in pretty good condition. It's obviously, you know, had some body work done on it, and the body work is pretty decent, but there are a few issues we want to take care of today. And one of those things is right down here. We've got a few little bubbles below this stripe. The owner has been inside this door, and he says there's not a lot of rust in there, so he's pretty sure that that's going to be minimal. But anytime you get into rust, you never know what you're going to find. I'm hoping to keep that below that stripe. That's what we're looking to do. We'll see if that's going to be possible. And then some other things we've got going on is around this wheel opening. He's got some damage here. I don't know if you can see that. It's a little dark over here. But anyway, it looks like somebody had a blown tire or something happened here, bent up this wheel opening. So we're going to straighten that up. Also, it's done some damage on the top of this wheel opening where it's cracked some body work, I believe. So we don't know exactly what we're going to get into there, but we're going to find out real quick. Now the color's been changed on this vehicle, so this is not the original color. So we're going to have O'Reilly's come and scan this color and see if we can get a good color match off their Spectrum camera. We also have got to do some work on this wheel opening here. He just wants to clean it up, get it looking its best for the upcoming shows this summer. So let's start digging into it. I think the first thing we're going to do is we're going to check out that rust spot and see what we got over there. Now, I know you guys want to see what the engine looks like. Pretty slick. Probably a 302, but I'm not sure. This says 289 on the fender. All right, let's grind off this rust and see what we got. Tape off this stripe. So we need to grind out this kind of section here. It's going to be tricky to save that stripe. Yeah, we have some holes here. It looks like they filled them before. The only real thing to do is to cut out this metal here below the stripe. I'm going to try and keep it as far away from that stripe as possible and clean up the rust underneath, because if I don't clean up the rust underneath, it's just going to come back. Treat the rust underneath and then weld another piece in. All right, let's peel this metal back and see what we get. Yeah. So there's not much I can do with this. That rust goes all the way along this door. I mean, we could change the door skin. We could get into a large cost and a lot of work to repair this, and the customer just doesn't want to get into that right now. So what we're going to do the best we possibly can. So I'm going to spray in some rust inhibitor. I'm going to spray cavity wax all down this door and all around this door to help slow down this process of rust. And then we're going to weld in a patch panel. That's the best we can do at this point without tearing this door skin off and taking care of it properly. So I've got some rust inhibitor here. We'll just spray a little bit on here and inside as much as we can. It's a rust converter inhibitor. I'm going to let this sit overnight. I'll come back in the morning and we'll spray it all down with cavity wax. I'll put some weld through primer on it and then we'll weld in a patch piece. And basically that's what we can do at this point. Hopefully it will last for a few years, but you never know with this stuff. So I'm going to start by creating a patch panel. So I've got just a little piece of envelope here. Get an idea of where these cuts need to be. So I'm going to make it a little bit bigger here, and then we'll trim it to fit. Now, all right, so I got a piece of metal here. This is about 1/16 metal, so it's a little bit thicker. We'll just cut it out. We'll trim it up, fit it in there. It'd be easier if I could cut it with these and not have to grind it. We are ready to get this welded. So the first thing I'm going to do, I am going to spray some cavity wax inside this door, but the first thing I want to do is apply some weld through primer because we're going to do some welding here. And if I spray that cavity wax, this will not stick properly. So we're just putting a little bit of weld through primer here just to protect it. We'll also spray this, the inside of this. What we're going to do is apply this cavity wax inside this door. We'll go through this hole, and with this wand you attach this to the can and then you can apply it deep in this door all over the place. This is really good if you're doing like a restoration project at home or even on your personal vehicle. I would recommend this stuff for your trucks. So maybe once a year, go to your truck, you can pull out the plugs in the bottom of the rockers, because rockers is where those are going to rust the most. Blow those all out and go ahead and spray this cavity wax, and this won't allow moisture to get into that metal. Works really well at preventing rust. Eventually I believe this rust is going to come back and we're going to have to do something else with it, but for the time being this is what we're going to do just to protect it. So we're going to feed this in here. As far as we can. Patch panel cut. It fits nice and tight. I've got a little magnet on here holding it in position. We'll just push it down to weld it. We're just going to tack weld it. The welder we're going to use today is this 135E MIG welder. This weighs 10 pounds. Very lightweight. It's incredibly small. Company sent this to me to check out and kind of review, and although it feels like a inexpensive tool, it has a chip in it that's a smart chip that basically does your heat setting and your wire feed all with one knob. So you put it on the thickness of metal you want and it automatically sets your wire speed and your heat. And actually it works pretty well. I was surprised with how easy it was to spot weld things. I used this on a key repair and I was able to really easily spot weld something. It was a nice weld. So we're going to use it some more on this Mustang and see how we like it. So let's get some power to it. Okay, so I'm going to set this at the lowest setting possible, the 1.5. So it automatically kicks on when you turn it to the metal setting that you want. flexible block. It's kind of firm, and I put some Velcro tape on it just so I have a small block to block this with. So let's go ahead and block this out. Okay, we're going to mix up a little bit of filler. So I made another little long block, a little bit longer. We'll use that. Okay, so now, I hope you guys can hear me. It's raining really hard outside, but now we've got to fix these cracks on this wheel opening on this Mustang. So we'll need to repair those. I guarantee there's filler underneath there, so we're gonna grind that crack out. It looks like the tire may have hit this. I don't know if that's been corrected, but we're gonna straighten out this lip here, and then we'll have to paint this entire quarter panel. So first thing we need to do is remove this tire. Let's go ahead and remove that. And I've got a tool sent over to me from Vevor that we're going to test out today. This is a Vevor Air Impact. Let's check this out. So as you know, Vevor makes a bunch of different automotive tools. Feels like it's well built. We'll have to put the fitting in here. But they give you some different sockets. They give you an extension. I am not sure what this is. You guys know what this is? Let me know in the comments. I'm wondering if it's some kind of water trap. They give you some oil, tool oil here. Okay. All right, so we've got these are little star bits to get this spinner off. So I've got this Sunex tools. This is a handy little kit. I'll leave the link in the description, but it's got all these different drivers. Got some nut drivers in here. Pretty much anything you need. Got this little mini wrench here. I don't think this didn't come with it. This is something separate, but that's the size right there. Oh, look how easy that comes out. So we'll take that off. All right, let's grind this crack. So we'll use this belt sander. Let's see what we find. If I get my eyes on, glasses, because I can't see a dang thing, that's a rust hole right there. If I just tap this a little bit, well, it's pretty solid, it's not going through. We're gonna weld up that little rust hole. This is a Astro Onyx. I think this is a 3-inch disc. Comes in handy. I need to get a new piece of sandpaper on here. What I can show you is we've got layers and layers of body filler, primer, paint, glaze. There's all kinds of coats of filler and primer and paint on this. So we're not getting crazy with this. We got a little rust hole here. I'm gonna attempt to weld it up the best I can. And then I'm gonna treat this because it has this rust here. Really need to spray inside this quarter if we can with some cavity wax. That would help protect it a little bit more. But for now, what we're gonna do is, I don't like the looks of this here. This looks like rust. What you wanna do is feather edge this old filler out when you're repairing old filler. If you see that there's a gap and it doesn't look like a smooth transition, it looks like something's getting under it and it's lifting and it's not feathered smooth, then you need to keep removing filler, okay? We'll weld up this hole, we'll fill this, we'll treat it, we'll fill it, and then we'll move on. And believe me, I realize that this is not going to fix this problem forever. This is just a temporary fix. Hopefully it lasts a few years. We've got some fiberglass filler over the welded area. We've got some body filler here. We're going to block this out. Probably put another skim coat of icing over it. We filled this area here. And then I filled that weld that they had that was rusting right there. So we'll block this out. We're also going to block out the door. We've got that filled with the final coat of body filler. We might put a little bit of icing over that to smooth any imperfections out. But then this side is pretty much done. We just have to do a little bit of paint work in this lip here. This is a flexible block that I made. I just put a little Velcro on there. I cut a flexible block down to the size I need. We'll block this with 80 grit and then we'll move on to 180. We'll go from 80 to 180 to 320 and then we'll prime it. All right, we mixed up some upol filler. I'm gonna put a little bit under here. Get a little bit more of a roll here. I'm leaving a little extra in here so I could form this. We'll block it down. Okay, so we've got the R500 here. We've got some upol 2K primer. We mixed it up as a primer sealer, so that's 4 to 1 to 1. And I've got reduced air pressure. The air pressure is at 15 psi. I've got my fluid volume turned, one turn out from closed, and my fan pattern dialed way down. I'm going to control the trigger so I can be very precise where I put this primer. I've got a hard line here just because we're keeping that under the stripe, but I don't want to primer right up to that hard tape line. We'll let that flash off and put another coat on.
Be sure to check out next week's episode when we finish up this Mustang. But if you want to learn more about paint and body repair, check out this video now. I appreciate each and every one of you watching, and we'll see you next time on Garage Noise.